Welcome to 7.5, Constructing Sample Spaces. Okay, it's been a while since I've used this thing, so. Constructing Sample Spaces, that is the title of your video, of your Cornell notes. And the first thing that you need to understand when you're doing sample spaces is that you have groups of outcomes. Like in number 1, it says, how many ways can 2 coins be chosen from a set of 1 penny, 1 nickel, 1 dime, and 1 quarter? So you have a group with the penny, a group with the nickel, a group with the dime, and a group with the quarter. So how many ways can 2 coins be chosen? When you make a sample space, you're making a list, and the important thing it says is to make an organized list. That means you need to find a pattern in the way that you're listing them. So if you're going to, let's say, choose a penny first, this is number 1, write down number 1. Number 1. Oh, why isn't it writing? Number 1. Number 1. You could choose a penny and a nickel. Or you could choose a penny and a dime. Or you could choose a penny and a what? A quarter. Okay? And there we've made our list starting with a penny. What else could we get as an outcome? We could get a nickel. We're not going to say a nickel and a penny because we already have that here. We're going to say a nickel and a dime. And then we could get a nickel and a quarter. Okay, there's our nickel. And now let's make a list starting with a dime. We can make a dime and a quarter. I don't know what this is right over here. Okay, we're not going to go back and say a quarter and a penny because look, we already have it. We're not going to go back and say a dime and a penny because we already have that one. You just list each one time. A penny and a dime is the same thing as a dime and a penny. So how many ways can we choose 2 coins? Now you just count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six ways. And that's number 1. Number 2 says to draw a tree diagram. And that's almost like a factor tree. Draw a tree diagram to show the sample space for each situation, then tell how many outcomes are possible and find the given probability. So we're doing 3 things. We're doing a tree diagram and telling how many outcomes there are and then finding a probability. So on this it says each spinner is spun once. I am so sorry, I don't know how to move this thing anymore. How many outcomes are possible? And then it says find the probability of pink and Z. Where's my eraser? There it is. Why doesn't it erase? Okay, so let's list all the possibilities. First, you could land on pink. This is number 2. You need to write these down. Pink, and then X. You can land on P on the first spinner and Y on the second one, and P on the first one, and what's left? Z. So there's 1, 2, 3 so far. You can't just land on pink, you could also land on green. And X, green, and Y, green, and Z. Okay, so how many outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 outcomes. And what's the probability of finding or it landing on pink and Z? How many of these outcomes has pink and Z? Only one. So that's 1 out of, and now count all of your outcomes that you had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There that is. Okay, number 3. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, or mint ice cream with sugar or waffle cone. How many outcomes are possible? And then find the probability of getting a vanilla and waffle. Vanilla ice cream and a waffle cone. So you can, oh, it wanted us to do tree diagrams. Those are different. Let me draw one of those. So we have chocolate with sugar and with waffle. Vanilla with sugar and waffle. Strawberry with sugar and waffle. And then mint with sugar and waffle. Okay? So how many outcomes are possible? You just count the branches. I wonder if I have a highlighter. You count the branches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And really, it's not just the branches that you count, it's the ends of the branches. That should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And each end has the same thing, SW, 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 SW. That's for sugar or waffle. So how many outcomes are possible? 8 outcomes. And then what's the probability of getting vanilla and waffle? That's right here, vanilla and waffle. So your outcome is 1, or the probability is 1/8. Okay? And then number 4, we've got to do a tree diagram for that also. We did not do a tree diagram on number 2, but we'll do one on number 4. Paint room cream, violet, or blue with red, white, or gold trim. How many outcomes are possible? So you have cream, a room that's painted cream with red trim, white trim, or gold trim. And then you can do a violet room with red trim, white trim, or gold trim. That's the same thing as the cream room. Or you can have a blue room with red trim, white trim, or gold trim. Notice my pattern. I did the same thing over and over again. How many outcomes are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it says, what's the probability of getting a blue room with red trim? That's right here. So there's 1, the probability is 1/9. The end.